This man was entrusted with a mysterious and eerie mission. Every day, he was to plant landmines along the cliff face to prevent terrifying monsters from escaping. He lived in a bunker situated on the opposite side of the canyon, dozens of meters above the ground. Across from him stood another bunker, an exact replica of his own. Not only was Levi cut off from the outside world, but he was also required to remain there completely alone for an entire year. After explaining the mission in meticulous detail, Jack departed. Yet, no one could have predicted that the entire undertaking was, in fact, a trap. Lurking beneath the surface was a massive conspiracy. Even more shocking was the manner of Jack's demise. He was simply hoisted up and hurled over the precipice. No one who possessed this secret was ever meant to leave this place alive. Levi's daily routine appeared simple on the surface, yet it allowed for not even the slightest lapse into complacency. He was required to verify that the canyon's radar system was functioning correctly, inspect the security fences for any breaches, and ensure that the heavy machine guns remained fully loaded. Once a month, he would submit a report to headquarters. The remainder of his time was spent within the confines of his bunker. One day, overcome by sheer boredom, Levi picked up his binoculars. Curiosity piqued, he peered across the canyon toward the opposing bunker. He was stunned by the sight that greeted him. Inside the bunker, there was a woman. Her name was Irene. She quickly realized that Levi was watching her. At that moment, the trajectory of their fates began to shift. That night, unable to suppress his curiosity, Levi stole another glance at Irene. Upon discovering she was being watched, Irene promptly blew out her candle. Levi's mind was now teeming with questions. Why would a woman be stationed here to guard this tower? He was unaware that Irene was, in fact, a top-tier assassin. She had recently eliminated a high-profile target. To evade the relentless, all-consuming manhunt that ensued, Irene had been forced to retreat to this isolated corner of the world in search of a moment's respite. The following night, Irene could no longer endure the crushing weight of her solitude. She used her binoculars to observe Levi and see what he was doing. Then, she scrawled a few words onto a piece of cardboard. Next, she fired a single shot into the sky. The gunshot rang out with startling clarity in the otherwise silent canyon. It was the first sound to break the silence that had existed between them. She asked Levi for his name. However, adhering strictly to Jack's earlier warning, Levi replied that they were expressly forbidden from communicating. But Irene was not about to give up so easily. She raised her sniper rifle, fired a shot at Levi, and made a series of taunting gestures. Meeting her playful gaze, Levi felt his dignity being challenged. He swiftly raised his weapon, took aim, and with a single shot shattered Eileen's bottle. But to his surprise, Eileen didn't get angry. On the contrary, she threw her hands up and applauded. She even held the bottle high above her head, inviting Levi to take another shot as if to test his skill and courage. Suddenly, Eileen's expression changed, as if she had just witnessed something terrifying. She hurriedly signaled to Levi that there was danger beneath his feet. Levi immediately looked down from the tower. A swarm of dark figures was climbing their way up. By the way, if you want to see more, this movie is called The Gorge.